Hey everyone, welcome to The Collision. Daniel here, and I'm excited to share with you guys some footage of a really great event that I got to be a part of. The TV network Lifetime is putting an emphasis on faith-based storytelling this summer, releasing what they're calling their summer faith slate of films from July 19th until August 9th, with some really great Christian talent involved. And so, along with some other handful of other media members, I was invited to participate in a nearly hour-long digital roundtable with four of the lead actresses of those films, Chrissy Metz, PenaVega, Kate Graham, and Paula Patton. And it was a really great event. So I wanted to share just kind of some of what those women had to say. So kind of first, they were asked sort of how their own personal faith journeys led them to their roles. So take a listen to what they had to say.
Finding faith came to me on a really remarkable day. I had been feeling stressed and anxious about something that was really challenging, and I was looking out, not knowing what was next. And I woke up that morning and I meditated and I prayed, and I was like, I am so tired of feeling this way. And I just said, you know what? I give it to you, God. I lay it at your feet. I'm going to walk just for this next week as if everything is working out in my favor. And I really meant it. I'd said things like that before, but I hadn't really meant it. I don't know what it was, but I really just said, here, take it. And this peace washed over me. And then I went about my day. And a few hours later, my friend and neighbor, Charles Porter, he called me up and he's like, Paula, I have a script for you. And it's called Finding Faith. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. I was going to drop the phone or throw the phone. I was floored. I was like, was heaven sent. And I thought to myself, well, I don't even need to read it with this title alone and with this day. And that it came to me on this day. I have to do it. But then I read it that night and it had really mirrored things had been through in my own life, issues of addiction and going through something that was really challenging and finding yourself on the other way out, and also a love for your son and such like that. And I knew that this was something I had to do.
So I actually read the script years ago, and then I thought it went away. And much like Paula was sharing, you never know with this industry. It's so up and down that you're like, I don't know what's going to happen or what's going to come next. And I always pray that it's God's will and it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I trust and believe that. And I surrender and trust that there's a bigger picture and there's a lot more going on aside from just entertaining, but really reaching people and inspiring people and giving them back hope. And for me, I was also searching and hopeful about, what the career move was going to be. And for Nichole and her story being a true story and such a heroic way that she handled really, really difficult, very scary event in her life, I was like, maybe I'll learn something from her and playing her because I definitely suffer with anxiety and there are things that I have just a hard time with. And the surrendering and trusting was like, such a through line throughout the movie, and it helped me to really anchor that in my life. And I'm just so grateful. I just believe everything happens as it's supposed to, and I really felt that with this role. And it was certainly challenging mentally, emotionally, and physically. But as I believe that God doesn't give us anything we can't handle, and I'm hoping that through this story, people will be inspired that it doesn't have to be a fire physically that they're going through, but that we all have something that we're going through, and with hope and inspiration, we can get to the other side of it. So,
I'll jump in real fast. Mine was a little different. I we had just been praying for just something different for our family. I've been so blessed to be able to work with my husband on a lot of projects and doing fun rom-coms together. But I had just been talking about how creatively it wasn't as fulfilling as I really wanted it to be. And I was just like, babe, I just want something different. And he's like, well, let's start just putting that out there. Let's talk to God about it. So I really just started asking God, Lord, you know the desires of my heart, and I delight myself in you. So please just, if this is your will, I would love something just different to happen. And it was literally within the next couple weeks that I ended up getting a phone call for this particular project. And we were cracking up because it really is, oh, sorry, some ambulance are going by. It really is so simple. Like, I love my relationship with God because I will bring everything to him, as silly as it might sound, is like, God, like you have blessed me so much with this career, but I would like to try something maybe a little bit different. And to literally just get this script a couple weeks later, where it was so different than all the rom-coms I had been doing. This is like literally action, a mother trying to get her daughter back, and like just there's just so much at stake. And it was exactly the thing that I'm like, oh, this is what I wanted to do, without knowing specifically, like without going to God and being like, this is the exact specific thing I wanted to do. I was like, Lord, I just want something different. And this popped up, and it cracked me up because he allowed me to have that. And I had such a good filming experience. A lot of crazy fight scenes, which I hadn't done in years, but it was very fulfilling and very fun.
Later on, another media member asked them just to speak on the importance of uplifting faith-based stories in Hollywood, particularly in contrast to some of the other types of films that are being released these days. And I think they had a lot to say on this, so check out their answers.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, so grateful. Not only are they faith, leaning or faith-based films, but they feature women at the helm and at the lead. And like, we don't really see that. We see a lot of great stories, but really great stories are often led by women, right? And so it's so nice to not only sit with all these amazing actresses, but like to know that there's a story that will touch somebody some way, somehow, probably all of them, but that people are yearning for connection. And I mean, even through COVID and the strike and all these things that we don't have control over. And people who weren't religious or who weren't necessarily even spiritual were like, I've started to pray because what else can I do? And when you've sort of come to the edge or to the end of your rope and you're like, the only thing that I have left is to pray. The reason why these films are being made is because there's a need for them and there's a want and a desire. And it's so refreshing. I'm so grateful. And I just think people are searching for something they haven't found. And I think that a lot of that has to do with their spirituality and their faith. So I'm very excited.
I kind of just want to jump in after Chrissy, because the reality is in Hollywood, there's so many films and projects that don't glorify God or positivity or spirituality. There's so much horror, and I'm not trying to bring out the Georgia in me. There's all this, but there's so many things that do get that kind of attention and that kind of audience. And I'm really excited that Lifetime has taken these incredible films and put with these awesome actresses for such a positive reason, and that we can glorify beautiful faith-based stories led by women and show that those movies have impact too, and that those audiences are just as important and just as expansive as these other audiences that might not be into, the more positive storytelling and things that actually feed our soul in the best way. So I'm really excited to show them what we could do and show Hollywood what we can do, because that's really exciting for me.
I wanted to say one thing too, because I actually think that Lifetime is giving this gift to people because it's through stories that we can feel like we can get through anything. I don't know, when I was at my hardest times, it's always been stories about other people's journeys and how they got through it that helped me, right? And so it's really a beautiful gift that Lifetime is giving folks in these 4 stories that are very different. It gives you hope, I think, especially when people are feeling at their darkest moments.
So the last clip that I wanted to share with you is actually a question that I had asked them, so I will let myself ask it. I think this is kind of a unique thing. I know I'm sure you guys have done a ton of junkets. I've done a bunch of junkets, but to have 4 of you representing different movies all together, Obviously these are very different movies as you've mentioned, but there is a sense that there is a commonality. There is sort of a shared hope, shared message theme of just, hopefulness, finding faith in the midst of difficult circumstances. I guess my question for any of you four is, what's that experience like for you guys to be on a call like this at a press thing and to do it alongside three other women who are doing different, you guys are filming all around the world, very different genres of stories, and yet, with that same heart of, uplifting people and just exploring, stories of faith.
I'm just gonna jump in here because I'm such a fan of these ladies. Like I forget to answer because I'm so interested in everything they're saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's had, I'm just excited. So I think for me, it's just so surreal because I've watched their work for so long. So it's really such a joy to just be like, I'm trying to not be a fly on the wall, but just to kind of be a fly on the wall and to be a part of it. It's just, thanks for asking that because it's really cool. And I've never done anything like this before, but I love it. This is awesome.
We need more of this.
Yeah.
It's really
Why can't we do all our press together? This is great. We're just going to do all our press together. It doesn't matter if it's Lifetime or not. We're just going to, this is the crew.
Yes.
There's just so much more unity. It's exciting, fun.
And it's a great way for us to learn about each other too.
Yes, I love it.
As artists and to, show up and also get like that validation of, the vulnerability that all of us have, we're all known to be, from what I know about them and myself, like we're all pretty vulnerable and authentic people. So it's really nice to see that in each other and to celebrate that also. It's really nice. So I just think
I totally agree with you, Kat, because that's what's great is because it's a faith-based movies, it just brings up a different conversation you don't really have usually that you're not really going to have on a junket or about the craft or anything like that. This is about like the deep inner workings, right, of our souls and like what makes us all tick, and to find this commonality is really incredible. I respect and admire all of you so much, and to hear each day, I think that that's why I think it's so incredible that we get to watch these movies and they are stories. And as you listen to other women talk, it's also stories. And it's the stories that help push us through in life, right? Like someone else did it. Someone else felt that way. They got on the other side. They went through something difficult. They still found God. They still found the light. That's what propels us forward. So it's really remarkable.
Yeah. And just to piggyback what you ladies have said, it's so exciting because I don't know that we would have done press together, but just to glean like how you've done it or who you are as people and as women and what you've of course brought to the films. I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm like a little fangirl. And it's just nice. It's so nice to have, women who are proud and strong in their convictions, but also humble and confident and the way they walk through life. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not just going to learn through the movie, but who these women are. And it's just, it's really exciting. Yeah.
And it's just fun. Like it's just more fun not to do it alone.
Yes. And it's fun. Yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. There was a lot of more covered in the discussion, and I found the women to be very transparent about their faith and their own personal struggles. And personally, I just left this call feeling very encouraged by just how God is at work in Hollywood. And of course, if you want to support these types of stories, make sure to tune in to Lifetime from July 19th until August 9th, and I'll put more information in the description about the films below. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and continue to collide with your world for Christ.